Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We'll hope you continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Welcome. In North Carolina, almost 250 pounds of food waste are created per person each year. The most popular way that food waste is diverted from the landfills is composting. But what exactly is composting? Well, joining me today is Kat Nigro, Head of Marketing and Engagement at Compost Now. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Bill.
I know absolutely nothing about composting. What is it?
That's okay, you're not alone. So, Bill, composting is the controlled breakdown of organic material into a nutrient-rich soil amendment. The most important part of that definition is the word controlled. To some people, it feels like magic. I know it does to me, but it's definitely a scientific process that requires...
Is this a science project?
So it is a scientific process that requires time and know-how and effort. And then another part of that definition that a lot of people don't know is that compost is a soil amendment. So it's not soil itself. What it does is it adds the necessary nutrients to soil to allow it to be healthy and productive.
Well, why go through this process? I mean, soil's dirt. It's dirt, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, Bill, there's a couple important reasons to compost. And at Compost Now, we like to say that composting starves landfills and builds healthy soil. But what does that mean? So composting reduces waste. And right now in the United States, 40% of the food that is grown is wasted and sent to the landfill. And what happens there, Bill, is that it emits methane, a greenhouse gas 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So when you're composting, you're actually avoiding those emissions altogether. But Bill, more than that, what we're seeing in this country is our soils are depleted of the nutrients required to grow healthy food. And that's a lot because of monoculture and urbanization.
Explain that.
Yeah, so what we're doing is when you grow food and you harvest it, you're stripping your soil of the nutrients because those nutrients are in the produce, right?
Okay.
And then when you're sending those food scraps to the landfill, all it's doing is rotting and being wasted. So Bill, those nutrients in those food scraps are precious. And what we need to do is recycle them back into our soil to be able to grow more food.
So, what can you compost? I mean, I have some building material. Can I throw that in?
That's a really good question. And the answer to that kind of depends on what kind of system you're using. So for viewers who are composting in their backyard, I like to say that your pile should have a vegan diet. So no meat, no dairy, no compostable serviceware. And that's because backyard systems don't usually get to the temperature required to break down those materials. But if you're composting with a service like Compost Now, you can compost anything. That's compostable, of course. So what we like to say is, if it grows, it goes. So that can include meat and dairy and even food soil pizza boxes, which a lot of people don't know can't be recycled and should be composted.
So let's talk about the person. It sounds like there's varying degrees. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have the person who has a backyard compost, mm-hmm. and then of course Compost Now is something entirely different. Mm-hmm. So explain the difference, and why would our viewers even contemplate having, let's say, a backyard compost?
Let's start with a backyard system. Mm-hmm. That's an easy thing to do if you have the space, but it does require know-how and time. And the reason Compost Now came to fruition was we wanted to reimagine our current waste management system to solve the problem of lost nutrients. Mm-hmm. But what we saw, Bill, was that people wanted to compost, but there were so many barriers preventing them from doing so. And that could be space. Maybe they live in an apartment or they're renting. Or time. Maybe they're just too busy to flip their pile every 2 weeks, right? Or desire. Some people may not want a pile in their backyard, right?
Right. And
so what we did is we sought out to make composting accessible, easy, clean, and convenient. And so our members are able to compost with us. We say Compost Now makes composting easy, and it's the easiest way to compost, and that's because we do it for you.
Okay, well, let's go through the process. I am intrigued. I want to do it, but I don't want something in my backyard. Mm-hmm. So I call you. What happens?
Mm-hmm. So, Bill, you would sign up and you would choose the plan that fits your needs the most. What we would do is we'd give you a bin and you would put all your compostables in there for the week. I'm talking pizza boxes, wine corks, That's my thing. Any food scraps or any other compostables, you would put them in your bin, and then once a week on your collection day, similar to trash and recycling, but we make it easier. You just put it outside your front door, we'll come and swap it, and then what we do is we actually track your impact. So you're seeing how much you divert each week from the landfill, and then you earn percentage of that as nutrient-rich compost.
So what do you do with this wonderful nutrient soil amendment?
So we don't want to make compost for the sake of making compost.
No.
We need to use it in our local soils. So whether that's you requesting it back to use in your garden to grow food, or whether it's sharing with one of our garden partners that we work with in the community for them to be able to educate and teach people how to grow food and to strengthen our local food system.
Now, how do you pay for the cost of this? Because it sounds like it would be, you got a lot of things happening with Compost Now.
Yeah, so we are a monthly subscription. For one bin a week, it's $29 a month, and that includes us doing all the dirty work.
Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
Trust me, it is. So how do people get a hold of you then, Kat?
Yeah, so you can find us at compostnow.org.
Well, that was pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, you really cut to the chase.
We make everything easy, Bill.
Well, can this be a silly question? It is going to be a silly question. Because basically our landfills are big compost piles, aren't they? Why aren't we doing more?
When you throw things in the landfill, it emits methane, and that's because the environment isn't right to compost.
Okay.
And this is how I kind of want to phrase it is, let's say you want to bake a cake, Bill. You put all your ingredients in a pan and you stick it in the oven.
Yes.
If that oven is on, what comes out is going to be a lot different than if that oven is not on.
True.
Right? So that's
true.
kind of the difference between throwing your food scraps in a landfill versus composting it. It's two entirely different processes that the end product is two entirely different things.
Awesome. CompostNow.org. That's where you go. Kat, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
Hey, don't go away. When we return, we'll find out how one nonprofit is changing lunchrooms, one tray at a time.